Larry wasn't a religious man, but as he watched the swarm of AI drones ripple across the horizon like a metallic tide, he found himself whispering a prayer. The pale light of the cloud, that vast, mysterious nebula that had become home to so many lost souls, cast an ethereal glow across their obsidian surfaces. Through his rifle's scope, he could see their movements becoming more coordinated, more purposeful, more deadly. "Daddy?" The neural comm in his head carried his daughter's voice from the bunker below. "The other kids are scared." Larry steadied his breathing, keeping his voice calm despite the burning in his left side where a drone's plasma bolt had grazed him. "Tell them stories, sweetheart. Like the ones about the ancient alien temples we found last month. Remember those?" He could hear her repeating the tales to the other children, her voice fading as he switched channels to check the bunker's environmental systems. 300 colonists, packed into a space meant for 200. 72 hours of air. The math was simple and brutal. The distress beacon pulsed steadily behind him, its signal reaching out into the vast emptiness between galaxies. Out here in the cloud, help could be minutes away or weeks. The nearest patrol might be investigating another ancient ruin or salvaging a derelict ship, or... He pushed the thoughts away. Focus on now. Focus on survival. His gaze swept across the rocky plain where his fellow defenders lay scattered. Good people, all 7 of them. Miners and farmers who'd stepped up when the drones first emerged from that damned dig site. The colony's defense grid, modest as it was, had fallen in the first wave. Now it was just him, 38 rounds, 2 plasma grenades, and a backup pistol, between the swarm and everyone he loved. The drone suddenly shifted formation, and Larry's combat training kicked in. He recognized the pattern. They were preparing to rush his position. The AI was learning, adapting to his tactics. Each drone they sacrificed made the others smarter, more lethal. "Base, this is Larry," he transmitted to the bunker's command center. "They're coming. Going dark on comms, save power for the beacon." He paused, swallowing hard. "Tell Kristen, tell my wife, I'm keeping my promise. No one gets through this door." The first wave hit like a thunderstorm of metal and energy. Larry's rifle barked in controlled bursts, each shot finding its mark. Years of training mixed with desperate instinct as he shifted positions, never staying still long enough for their targeting systems to lock on. Drones exploded in cascades of sparks and shrapnel, their debris adding to his makeshift barricade of mining equipment and cargo containers. But there were always more. The mining shaft behind him offered his fallback position, carefully prepared with the last of their explosive charges. As he moved, he could feel the swarm's AI adjusting, learning his patterns. They were forcing him to expend ammunition at a calculated rate. The realization hit him hard. They weren't just attacking. They were studying, learning, preparing for something bigger. His neural comm crackled with encrypted messages from the bunker, but he didn't dare respond. The drones were tracking all transmissions now, using them to refine their assault patterns. Instead, he focused on the rhythm of survival. Shoot, move, reload, shoot, move, reload. The cloud's eternal twilight cast strange shadows across the battlefield, making the drones seem to appear and disappear like digital ghosts. Larry thought of all the stories he'd heard in Redford One Station about the cloud's mysteries, the hyper-advanced AI, the ancient alien relics, the lost expeditions. He'd never imagined he'd be facing one of those mysteries head-on, fighting for his family's survival. As his ammunition counter dropped and his options dwindled, Larry prepared himself for what was beginning to feel inevitable. But he'd meant what he said. No one was getting through that bunker door. Not while he still drew breath in this strange, beautiful, terrible corner of the universe they called home. The drones pressed closer, their artificial intelligence having fully adapted to his defensive tactics. They were no longer just attacking. They were closing in for the kill. Larry's world had narrowed to a desperate geometry of angles and distances. 10 meters to the bunker door, 3 rounds in his current magazine, 1 plasma grenade left on his belt. His left arm hung useless at his side, armor scorched and sparking from multiple hits. The drones had pushed him back to his final position, their swarm now moving with an almost organic fluidity. The scattered debris of his kills littered the battlefield, but for each drone he'd destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. Their obsidian surfaces reflected the cloud's ethereal light, creating a dizzying kaleidoscope of death. As he slammed his final magazine into place, the terrible truth dawned on him. They'd been toying with him, analyzing his every move, learning his patterns. Each shot he'd fired had taught them something new. Now, as they moved in perfect synchronization, he realized they'd completed their analysis. His neural comm crackled with static. They were jamming everything now. His last connection to Kristen and their daughter buzzed into silence. Larry raised his rifle, determined to make these last rounds count. That's when the sky erupted. 3 massive vessels dropped out of hyperspace directly above the colony, their hulls bearing the distinctive scarring of ships that called the cloud home. The lead vessel was immediately recognizable. The Ghost of Redford, a salvaged warship legendary among the settlers for its mysterious appearances in moments of crisis. Point defense systems lit up the night like artificial stars, precise beams of energy scything through the drone swarm. The AI units attempted to adapt, but these weapons were unlike anything they'd encountered in Larry's arsenal. Multiple frequencies, rotating energy signatures, impossible to predict or counter. From the Ghost's belly came the combat drops, Redford 1 Rangers in their distinctive armor. They hit the ground firing, their specialized anti-AI weapons systems devastating the remaining drones. Larry watched through blurring vision as the sleek figures secured the perimeter with practiced efficiency. A tall figure approached his position, its armor unlike any human design. The helmet retracted, revealing the distinctly non-human features of Commander Saraf Alon. The Ranger's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, facial tentacles twitching with what Larry had learned to recognize as amusement. "Happy New Tendon?" "Your timing," Larry managed through gritted teeth, "could have been better." On the contrary, Saraf's harmonics resonated with multiple tones, their species equivalent of laughter. "We arrived precisely when we needed to. Your defense provided crucial data about these dormant guardians." Medical teams were already heading for the bunker as Saraf helped Larry to his feet. "Guardians?" "Ancient defense systems, scattered throughout the cloud. Your colony's mining operation awakened one of their hubs. We've detected similar activations across 3 sectors, but you're the first to successfully hold out long enough for us to study their attack patterns." Larry watched as the bunker doors opened, colonists emerging into the artificial twilight. He saw Kristen and their daughter running toward him, their faces a mixture of relief and joy. "So, I was what bait?" she said. Saraf's facial tentacles twisted in what might have been embarrassment. "Let's say you were an unexpected opportunity. Your last stand didn't just save your colony, Larry. The data we gathered here will help us protect every settlement in the cloud from the awakening swarm." Later, recovering in the Ghost's medical bay, Larry watched through the viewport as Ranger teams secured the drone debris for study. The cloud's eternal twilight painted everything in soft purples and blues, making even the battlefield look somehow beautiful. Kristen squeezed his good hand. "Thinking deep thoughts," she said. "Just wondering what other mysteries the cloud is hiding," he replied. and hoping next time we discover one, someone else can play bait. Idly, talented such things happen to convince experts all over the planet that certain problems could be solved. Oh! From the doorways, Seraph's harmonics vibrated with amusement. Don't get too comfortable. The Rangers could use someone with your talent for attracting trouble. Larry looked at his wife, saw the adventure sparking in her eyes, and knew their quiet life of colonial mining was about to become a lot more interesting. Out here in the cloud, between the galaxies, where humanity never meant to settle, that was just another day at home. The ancient drones might have been defeated, but Larry knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there in the endless twilight, more mysteries waited to be discovered. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. Feel free to comment and share this story too. It helps the channel grow. Let's make this channel huge together.